Hi guys, welcome back. In the previous videos, we saw about the Spark basic architecture and the comparison between the Spark session, Spark context, and SQL context. We also saw about the different entry points and the comparison between the Spark session, Spark context, and SQL context. In addition to that, I also gave an overview of what are the different parameters of Spark context. And currently, we are looking at RDDs. So the features of RDDs, and now we are going to look at the different ways in order to create an RDD. There are two ways in order to create an RDD. First is by parallelizing an existing collection. Next is by referencing a dataset in the external storage system. The data can be from any external storage like HDFS, S3, or even the files like or the file formats like TXT file, CSV, JSON, etc. So before we start working on the examples, we just need to initialize the Spark session. So the Spark session can be initialized with the help of the builder pattern method, which is defined in the Spark session class. So as you already aware of, while initializing, we need to provide the master and the application name as shown here. So in real-time application, you will need to pass the master from Spark submit instead of hard coding on Spark application. Here I have used localhost star. This means I am running in the standalone mode. So this particular star which I have provided here can be any integer value and should be greater than 0. This represents how many partitions it should create when using the RDD data frame or a dataset. Ideally, this value should match to the number of CPUs cores which you have. Next is the app name. As you already know, it is used to set your application name. Next comes the get of the create. This returns a Spark session object if already exists, or creates a new one if it does not exist. So now we can run this particular cell and initialize the Spark session. So there are no errors. So the session has been successfully created. Next, let us try to create the RDD from the parallelized collection. So here I have a collection of even numbers. So what I'm doing is I'm just calling this parallelize method from the Spark context. So using the parallelize function of Spark context, we create an RDD. This function loads the existing collection from your driver program into the parallelizing RDD. This is the basic method to create RDD, unused when you already have the data in the memory that either loaded from the file or it can be any other database as well. And it is required all the data to be present on the driver program prior to creating an RDD. So let us try to run this cell. So the RDD is created without any issues. The second way in order to create an RDD is from the external data sources. So the data source can be a text file, CSV file, or any other HDFS, S3, or any other format as well. Suppose your input data is a text file, then you can just need to invoke the text file method of the Spark context. So this will load the entire content of the file into the RDD. If you want to read multiple text files within a directory, you can make use of the whole text file method, and this actually returns a paired RDD with the key being the file path and value being the file content. We can create an empty RDD using the method called empty RDD. This method actually creates an RDD without any partition. When we are using the parallelized method or the text file or the whole text file methods of the Spark context to initiate an RDD, what actually happens is it automatically splits the data into partitions based upon the resource availability. So when you run it on your laptop, it could create partition as the number of cores available on your system. So in order to identify the number of partitions of your dataset which is split into, we need to invoke the getNumPartitions method. So based upon the RDD which I have created here, I'm just trying to get the number of partitions which are created. So this returns a count of 8. As you know, the there are 8 number of partitions which are created. Sometimes we may need to repartition the RDD. So PySpark provides two ways to repartition. First is using the repartition method and the next is the Colliers method. The first method, which is the repartition, this shuffles the data from all nodes, also called as a full shuffle, and the second method called as the Colliers method, which shuffle the data from minimum nodes. For example, if you have data in 4 partitions and doing Colliers of 2 moves the data from just 2 nodes. So I'm trying to run these two cells as well, and you can see the repartition count is 4 and the Colliers count is 4. So initially I had 8 partitions and after recollier moved the data from just 4 nodes. So this is about the different ways in order to create an RDD. You can also read a CSV file into a data frame using the same Spark object. We load the CSV file using the method called CSV and you provide the file name here. PySpark provides a method called CSV on a data frame reader in order to read a CSV file into the PySpark data frame. So let us now try to read the iris.csv file from my local and load it into a data frame. There are 5 different columns in my dataset. So what actually happened is C0 for the first column, C1 for the second, C2 for the third, and C3 for the fourth, and so on. Suppose if you have a header record for your column names in your CSV file, then there is an option to provide the header as true. Using the option function, you can just provide the header as true. So this will actually read the first row as the header from your dataset. So if you could see here the sepal length, sepal width, petal width and species. So this became the headers for my data frame. If you want to read from multiple CSV files, then you can specify each CSV file separated by comma. If you want to read the entire files in a directory, then just specify the folder name here. So all the files within the directory would be read. Next, in order to infer the schema, we can mention the infer schema is equal to true in the options function. The default value set to this option is false. When you're setting it to true, it automatically infers the column type based upon the data. Just note, it requires reading the data one more time in order to infer the schema. And the next option is the delimiter. It is used to specify the column delimiter of the CSV file. So by default, it is comma, but we can also set it to any other character like pipe or a tab, space or any other option. So let us now try to read this, which is a comma separated file. So I'm just changing it to comma and the data is read into the data frame, and I'm just trying to visualize the data using the method df3.show. So this prints the result of my data. Hope you got an idea of how to create an RDD and what are the different ways in order to create an RDD. In the next video, let us try to understand the transformations and the actions which can be performed on our RDDs. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.